Hey YouTube, this is Alan. Thanks for joining. Today I'm going to be showing you how I used hot sand to form this piece of PVC pipe that I'm going to be using for my Mega Tree Base, my Christmas light display this year. This technique can be used to build other projects as well. If you need to bend PVC in any particular shape or form, you can build letters, Christmas arches, maybe like a big ornament, a 6-foot ornament in your front yard, like a Christmas ball. I'm thinking about doing some spiral trees and all sorts of things. So if you're looking on how to bend some PVC, this hot sand technique works really well. Stay with me. In this video, I'm going to be continuing my Mega Tree build. I'm going to be focusing today on building a base for my Mega Tree. It's going to be built with 3/4 inch PVC that I'm going to shape. I also have a special method on how I bend my PVC. I use hot sand to form the PVC to the shapes that I want. And then when that sand cools off, the PVC stays in the shape that it was last in. Hang with me and I'll show you all the steps and how I do that. Essentially what we're doing is we're taking raw PVC, 10-foot lengths. I put a piece of tape at the end of these. You could put a cap on there if you want, but I didn't want to spend an extra 10 cents on caps. So I put a funnel on this end. I've used this for all of my arches already. And as you can see, it doesn't damage it at all. There's basically heating up sand in the house using an oven. No smells, no odors or anything like that. It's basically just drying out sand, and it works really well. After the sand's warmed up, we're going to put that into this funnel. And then once this thing begins to heat up, which will honestly be about 10 seconds, 20 seconds, it doesn't take long at all, it'll become a noodle. So after your PVC is noodly from the warm sand, I made a kind of like a jig here where you just take a screw at the bottom, put a 3-foot, string on it, and draw yourself a circle. And basically, I end up with a 6-foot diameter. And these are just screws in the wall that I put along the line. And essentially, I'm going to set that PVC on top of that, and it's going to form. And then when the hot sand cools off, I'll pull it off. I'll empty the sand out, and it's going to stay in that shape. Okay, one of the steps is to get yourself some sand from wherever you're going to get it from. I got mine from Home Depot. Any type of sand will work. You don't want these clumps in here, and you want the sand to be very, very dry, because if it's not dry, it will get held up into PVC and basically it won't go all the way down. You just have a jam, and you won't get the heat penetration all the way down through the PVC that you need. So what I do is I take my sand, first of all, and I pour it into this guy. And after you do the first PVC, you know exactly how much sand you need. So when you do the next batch, you don't have to heat up as much. It actually does not take a whole lot to fill up a piece of PVC pipe. Okay, so the next step is to clean up your sand a little bit. It comes with some rocks in there. You don't want those in there. You don't want wet sand. You want to make sure that it's fine enough that when you put it into the PVC, it goes all the way down to the bottom and fills up the pipe completely. Just found a piece of screen laying around in my garage. I have a whole roll of this. I just cut a little piece off, and I think I'm going to try this and see how it works. But basically, I just want to filter this out and get out all the little rocks like that. Okay, and here's all the sand all sifted. It took me less than a minute to do that. Okay, so the next step is I'm going to take the sand in the house. I'm going to throw it in the oven, warm it up for about 20 minutes, about 400 degrees, I guess. Okay, I've been cooking that sand in the oven at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes. It seems plenty hot. I did stick a meat thermometer in it. Went up to 190 almost instantly. So I think that might be hot enough. I'm going to go ahead and throw on my welding gloves and go grab that out of the oven. It's very hot. You can see the pipe sagging right now. It's already getting noodly. Okay, and there we are with full. Okay. Whew. It is warm, folks. It's warm. I'm going to take this. You know what I forgot? I forgot a piece of tape at the end. We have our nice noodly little pipe here. We're just going to pull it up and over this. Whoops. Didn't want that to happen, but that's okay. Okay, and then we're going to just kind of space it out so it's even. I'm going to be doing 2 of these. So if I have something like this right here, I have my drill. I can just take something, another screw real quick. Okay, it's flat all the way around. Over here. Put that behind there. Okay, so here we have it. I have a car in the way, so it's not the easiest for me to film this, but you can see it's just resting against those screws that I put in the wall. All the way around. The pipe is very hot right now. And it's just sitting there on the wall. I'm just going to let it cool. I have one little area where it wasn't sitting flush against the screw, so I just put a screw on the outside of it to hold it in place there. And that's how I do it. So this particular pipe now has the exact amount of sand that I need to put in the next one. Okay, so as that's cooling, I can go take a break. It's hot here in Texas, so we're going to let that sit for about 30 minutes or so until that sand's nice and cool. Then I'm going to take the sand out and I'm going to put it in the pan again. I'm probably going to dump those rocks that I screened earlier and put all that extra sand that's in that pan right now into the bucket because I know exactly how much sand it's going to take to fill the next one based on this. I'll leave a little bit in the pan, but that means it's going to heat up quicker. It's going to be lighter. The pan's going to be lighter so I can lift it and pour it easier. Okay, so here we have the cooled down piece of PVC. I removed it from the wall, threw it on the ground here. You can see it held its shape. And now I'm going to recover the sand and go heat that sand back up and put it into the next one. Okay, so here I am now in my front yard. I completed the second arch. This is more of what I've already shown you in the first arch, heating up the sand, putting it in, forming it, painting it. And now I have both arches here in my front yard. And I'll show you where I'm going to be putting those and how I'm going to do the next step. Okay, so the base of my mega tree is going to be right here in the front of my house, center of this tree here. And it should be about 9 feet high. It's going to have a 6-foot base. That's the form that I used was to make 2 6-foot arches. They're 6 foot across the bottom or across the center, and also 3 feet from if I was standing up, from the ground to the top of the arch. And I'm going to take the best of both arches or both halves and cut out what I don't need. But the idea is to have them go all the way up to that flower bed board. So I'm going to take the best pieces to get a full circle that's 6 foot around, all the way around this hole that's in the ground, which is where my Mega Tree base goes. And it gets covered up with that green plate there. So what I'm going to do now is just cut those pieces until I get what I want, and then I'm going to connect them with the 3/4 inch connectors there on the ground. Okay, so you've seen how I used the sand to form the PVC pipe to make the base of my Mega Tree. Now I'm going to stake this down with some long rebar, something to keep it from not moving, and have some J hooks over, some L hooks, maybe even some corkscrews or some tent stakes, something that, you know, gets tied to this so this stays solid on the ground. The wind's not going to blow it away and push it away. And then, you know, your pixel strips will come down off of the tree like so, and then there'll be a bungee cord that connects these two here that you'll be able to, you know, allow it to have a little bit of flexibility without tearing these and you know, pulling these things apart. You could also wrap this around the bottom here and tie it together like that if you wanted to. I have plenty of leftover holes at the bottom of my pixel strips that will allow me to basically adjust this however I want. But the idea is going to be to, you know, have some extra and just double it over and then put the bungee cords so that I have a little bit of wind flex. Okay.